Welcome to the Kinected Podcast, where we shine a spotlight on the incredible members of our Kinected community. I'm Brent Fessler, your host, and each episode, we're diving into the stories, the expertise, and passions of the innovators, entrepreneurs, and change makers who make Kinected so special. Our goal is to inspire collaboration, to spark new connections, and drive business opportunities within our community here at Kinected. Today, we're thrilled to introduce Jason Barnes with Creative Kind. Hello, Jason.
Hello.
He's doing amazing things with Creative Kind, which we're about to learn about to start up here in the Kinected community. So let's get started. Jason, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. Count you as a friend, which I think all of Kinected are my friends, but
I'm the special one.
You're the special one.
Don't tell anybody else.
Yeah, we'll edit that part out of the podcast. But also want to say shout out to Tress Coffee. Well, I'm holding that in case it doesn't come up. Tress is also a new coffee shop. So if you haven't gotten to try all the great drinks at Tress, they're right here. Members at Kinected get unlimited drip and pretty good rates on all the barista drinks. So I am slightly over caffeinated right now because I've been trying out and enjoying all the coffee at Kinected. So
I know I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
A lot of people excited. I don't know if we should be that excited, but hey. But Jason, tell us about yourself and your journey to where you are today in your business and in your profession.
Well, man, how far back do you want to go?
Yeah. Lay back, start at the beginning.
Well, when there's this light, this tunnel. No. So I'm a multidisciplinary creative, graphic designer, commercial photographer, get to wear a lot of hats. Went to school for music, actually, and found that wasn't my true calling. But I did enough to get a minor in music, and then I switched majors to art, which fell naturally into what I do now. Thankful for that, being able to have that leading, that path that opened up for me while I was in college. It was actually a music class that got me my first job doing multimedia. Which kind of opened up that whole new territory of learning graphic design and jumping into photography. I jumped headfirst into that, learning all of those things that go with that. And so been doing this 20 plus years now.
Nice.
18 of those were I was an in-house creative for a local church here in San Antonio, large church. I enjoyed that.
That forces you to be multidisciplinary.
Yes. Even at a large church, budgets are still constrained, and so you learn to be scrappy. You learn to just try new things, and you learn new things. And so I'm grateful for that experience that I had because it really helped me grow. In my skill set.
And I would say too. My experience around some of the local churches, I knew that was one of the best places to go find creatives, was in some of the local churches. And probably about 10 years ago, I remember when the organization, I was at a university and we were starting to pull the creative process inside of the organization instead of that we could really own the passion and the values a bit more and the mission a bit more than that other people just weren't getting. Yeah. And I was like, I know where to go look.
Yeah.
And found didn't know a mutual friend, but found a mutual friend, Micah Bell, in one of those situations, and one of the best moves that we made. But yeah, so I totally get that's such a great place for the arts to cultivate.
Yeah.
is in.
And I feel like that's where it should start, right? Like God is the originator of all things. He's the creator.
Yeah.
And we are created in His image as His image bearers. And so I feel like creativity is the one thing that separates us from the animals, right? Like animals don't create art. They create some beautiful things, but it's out of nature, not necessarily through creativity, right? The creative process. And so I feel like the church should be at the forefront of doing things in the creative space, right?
Yeah.
Music and design and art and all those things. And, for many years it was in the earlier days, the church was, employing artists and Michelangelo and Leonardo, all these great works of art that had a spiritual emphasis came from the church.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was a period in more recent years where it kind of veered away from that, unfortunately. But the church I was a part of definitely was doing that, and I was blessed to be a part of that. However, I feel like God, over the course of my time there, started kind of planting some seeds in me that were more entrepreneurial, and I didn't know what to do with them for a long time. I had a dream that I wrote down back in, it's been 10 years now, about a space that I wanted to create for creatives, that had studios, it had a co-working space, it was collaborative, it was had a coffee shop. You talked about Chess Coffees, which I'm really excited about because that's happening here in the space.
Now, I feel like you showed me this, or you at least told me about it, but I feel like you actually showed me that 10-year-old dream that you
there's a sketch that I have and I didn't know what to do with it. I just, it's kind of, you just write it down or you put it down. I sketched out a plan, kind of like a rough blueprint even, and I never knew what to do with that. I did what I could at the church of facilitating that kind of environment where we're welcoming to creatives and drawing people and investing in them, not just using creatives, but actually investing back into them, providing classes. And so that's one of the things that I didn't know what to do with, but I just, where I was at, try to make something happen. But
I love this idea of art being such an important tool that we underutilize and we don't really embrace because maybe we don't feel like we're good artists. But what you just described is one of the, to me, a primary function of art, which is getting things like whatever you want to call them, dreams or visions. There's things that are maybe not in this physical dimension. You might call it spiritual things, or at least ideas or feelings or emotions. And art becomes such an essential tool to get those things out of that weird space that we really can't get focus on, and gets it out here in this place that we can then process or pursue it or just get clarity on it. And so that's to me at least a way to describe art, and especially when the way you have used art in the past as more of a for business needs. We need to communicate to somebody who we are or what's going on, and it becomes an important part of communicating effectively, especially when it comes to communicating in the way that hits people deeply, because you can type out the information and be accurate, but not be very effective with connecting with people as when you bring really good art. And yes, there's beauty to it, and that's a whole nother aspect of art that's really important. But
I think there's art for that uplifts and inspires. There's there to bring beauty to the space or beauty to the world around you. But then there's also a form of creativity that is problem solving, and that's what a lot of what I do. I help solve problems for businesses, organizations, through design and photography, through visuals, multimedia. So I think there you're right. You do want to make people feel something, to engage, not just putting information out. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And whenever anybody needs a multimedia extravaganza, sorry, it's a inside VeggieTales for those VeggieTales fans out there. Sorry. So tell me about what inspired you and the world inspired you to join the Kinected community. What brought you here, and how's it been?
So back in 2022 is when I first make the leap out of serving, in ministry, really, at a church, using my giftings, and really felt like God was pushing me to finally launch this dream that I've been sitting on at that time, I guess 7-8 years, and now we're on 10 years. And I didn't really know where or how to start, but I knew that God was calling me. So I took a leap of faith in that and just stepped out of the waters. I was going to I'll start freelancing, but really I needed the time. I couldn't do where I was working 50, 60 hours a week at a church. I needed the time to start getting back into the community and finding these local artists and creatives that I wanted to connect with. And so I did that. I started just showing up to events, started going to art things, I got connected with a group called SA Creatives, and started attending. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. So started going to their events. They started doing collaboration events with Jarrell Flowers, with the Rise movement. And I was like, okay, I want to be there. I started going to their creative nights. And that was 2 years in. Like, I just started showing up. I wanted to be in the community. I wanted to start meeting creatives outside the church.
Because you're so extroverted yourself. Yeah.
Not really, but we talked about before we got started recording about how we have to embrace discomfort in order to grow. And so I just started. I'm trying to have that growth mindset and just move forward in that. And so that's kind of where that led to. I was attending the creative nights. You were there on one of the panels that they had that night. And I was like, well, look at that. This guy looks interesting. I want to go talk to him. He's talking about a co-working space that he's running. And, that's kind of pseudo related to what I had envisioned. And so, I approached you, we had a conversation, and you were very welcoming. So that kind of leads to your question, answering the question in roundabout ways. I think you being welcoming to me, invited me to come check out the space, give me a tour, and then we had our conversations, and lo and behold, I'm now here in the space. Opened a studio and co-working space here called Creative Gun Studios. Yep. So, that was part of it. The other thing that I saw, that you were already investing in artists. You had artists here in the space. You had art on the walls. You're doing art exhibits, and which I'm now part of on that team to help facilitate that, which is like, kind of full circle. So, that's kind of what brought me in, I think, was the welcoming, your open-handedness in showing me, and sharing with me what it looks like to run a co-working space and run a business. And so thankful for that. You've become a friend and mentor to me in the last year, a little over a year now that I've been here. And so, that's it. And then the people, along the way that I've met, just so many wonderful people in here that have encouraged and, followed up and checked in, and like watching the progress as we built a wall and we painted and did all these things to get the space ready. It's been good. It's been a good journey. I love being here.
I remember when you described your dream and showed me your sketches and just some of the things that you'd captured. It definitely resonated with me. I was like, oh yeah, that's the kind of things that I want in that I can see in the connected space, or the connected environment, the connected ecosystem. Finding ways to have the creative there. I'm personally grateful for my own bivocational journey that I saw in my grandfather and the generations before me. So I'm grateful that I got to see those examples, to know that it was possible to see the not just like it's possible, but there's value in embracing art and business. And those things don't live in they don't have to live in separate places. In fact, they thrive with each other. Yeah. And so we don't need like to put all the creatives on that side of town or in that building over there. But there's something that, and I think creatives benefit being around the business experience and those people who are good at the bookkeeping and the sales and the things there. Yeah. And they get benefit from being around the creatives who are like, hey man, let's we don't have to keep doing it that same old way. And breaking some of the mold and things. But So, Creative Kind, real quick. What's the business look like?
Okay. Yeah, we're it's a collaborative co-working space, and we have studio rentals available. We have 2 different studios that we rent out to the public, but also members of Creative Kind and Kinected get a discounted rate on the hourly rate for studio rentals. Really, the
names of the studios, just so people remember, one of them is Studio A.
Studio A, and the other one is Studio B.
B. Yeah.
Very original.
Very original.
Kept it simple.
B's a little bit smaller than A. And they're fantastic spaces. I hear great feedback from the people who use those spaces.
Yeah, and, we've gotten some good feedback on it. People really loving it. Like to see a lot more people using it. So that's one of our goals and challenges this year, is growing that.
Yeah.
But really the heart behind it is to help professional creatives thrive. Simply put, we do that through building out that community. We're very big on community and collaboration. So that's kind of one of the things that we're aiming for. We want to offer more workshops. We want to build and invest in creatives ultimately to see them thrive. And so when one creative rises, we all kind of rise together, because they're elevating everybody around them. So, that's kind of the goal there, is to give them the tools, the resources, the community that they need to really truly thrive.
There is so much growth and opportunity that comes from community when it comes to art. And at least in the music side, we're almost familiar. This maturing and growing as an artist really starts from studying others. Maybe it's, from a musician standpoint, I'm listening to this kind of music and this becomes like a favorite. And so I'm like, I want to learn how to play like that artist or that performer. And so you end up learning their styles, which is really studying, right? You're studying them. My grandfather put some instruments in my hand. I'm grateful that he did that, and I look forward to doing that for my grandkids. And my parents have done that for my kids, and so it's a cool thing to put some of those tools in their hand, which is an important part. But that alone is not enough. It's really getting around some of the other artists, and watching somebody from afar is nothing like getting to be side by side, over the shoulder. Serving, apprenticing, helping out an artist who's got more experience, finding those mentors to really grow under is one of the things that on the music side, but also on the photography and video side, that it's no longer super difficult to have incredible creative power in the tools and the cameras, digital cameras, HD, like everybody, we've all got 4K sitting on our phones now. Yeah. And just having that, though, does not make an artist, right?
Right. Yeah. It's not about your creative skills alone. That's kind of one of the things that we're focusing on, is also building business skills and interpersonal skills, and, collaborating more. A lot of artists and creatives tend to be more on the isolated side, typically more introverted. And so that can be a challenge for them. But as you step out and, like we talked about, get uncomfortable and be comfortable with discomfort, I think you'll grow and be better for it. And so, that's one of the things that we're seeing in creatives. Really, why we exist is isolation, one. So we're focusing on building community. And the other is they lack the business skills. They have a lot of great creative skills, but they lack the business skills to actually succeed and thrive. Right. And so there's a lot of burnout there. They don't know what to charge. They don't know their true value and worth and what they bring to the table. And so we're trying to make that better for people.
And I would say I've also observed you're building a very generous community, and not just a scarce, protective, keep to yourself kind of community, but very generous, which is very refreshing.
That's one of our core values, actually, is no gatekeeping, to put it short. We think that when we start sharing that information, sharing ideas, sharing how things are done, especially with people that have been doing it a long time. If we don't continue telling that and sharing that and building that, then the industry as a whole dies. It starts withering up, and everybody's racing to the bottom because everybody's undercutting each other, trying to get work, and we're fighting for scraps. And that we creatives bring true value. Think about everything that we see and feel and experience in the world is brought by creatives. The art, the music, the design, the books that we read. Think of the world if we didn't have any of those things. And so I think a lot of creatives don't understand that true worth and value. And maybe even on the business side, businesses don't see it. I often see that maybe their creatives are the last ones at the table. Like, hey, here's this thing that we want to do. Can you make it happen? And without bringing them to the table. Right. Yeah. We don't have any money to do it. Rather than bringing creatives in at the beginning, how can we do this effectively? How can we make this a really wow moment that draws people in? Right. So I think, that's something that I appreciate is when organizations value enough to give creatives a seat at the table.
Share a success story or a project that I feel showcases what Creative Kind's doing.
Oh, wow. Well, just the fact that we are even open and that we have a studio is a true success, I feel. That was a couple months to get it where it is now. I'm really proud of that, to see just visually that come to life. A lot more that I want to do, obviously. Never feel like I'm done, but I feel like that's a success. I think the other thing that I'm really proud of is the collaborations we've been able to do already, just in a matter of months. We've already had multiple events with SA Creatives. We're looking at other partnerships as well. We're already kind of making inroads there in the community, and so I'm really proud of that.
Love that. Talk about collaborating with other Kinected members. Have you been able to do some of that collaboration so far? And what are some collaborations you're looking forward to in the future?
Oh, yeah. Well, we've already I've collaborated on a personal level with Kinected, with you.
Yeah.
We've been a part of the symposiums here. Already on the art exhibit team that we're the curation team for that. So that's been really fun to be a part of that and to bring foster that community here.
Yeah, I'll answer some of that too. So I turned 50 a couple months ago. And when my wife Kirsten asked me, hey, what do you want for your 50th birthday? And it didn't take long for me to think, the thing that I would love most would be to put on a concert with my 3 boys. And so I know a place and I know some people, and I can't imagine what it would have taken without the folks here at Kinected to pull off what we did and put on this fantastic concert. It was, the playing was okay, but like it really flexed the capabilities of the Kinected community. You were there, put on, I've seen some of the videos, fantastic video that you captured that night.
Still work in progress. Excited. We're almost there. We're getting there. I've been working on it.
Excited to see that. So stay tuned for that finish, because we're mixing down the audio as well. And it was such a fun night, such a memorable night. And the thing that I wanted most out of that, which I hope Kinected just continues to turn into as an expression of the art and the creatives here, was just people saying, man, I felt so touched just by being there, not because my playing was amazing. Like, it wasn't that. Like, I was so impressed. It wasn't that. It was just the depth and the meaning, the family, the relationships, the friends. Like, that room was full of the most precious things in my life. Right.
Yeah.
Some of it were my family members that are just so precious. But it was also just like, man, I'm incredibly wealthy because of the community here at Kinected. You being such a huge part of that, and so sometimes people cry at Kinected, and that's okay. This is it's not like this is going out on the internet or anything like that. But I do want to shout out. I mean, you've been so generous with finding ways to collaborate with people here, and I think that's part of the secret sauce at Kinected is that generosity. That doesn't mean like doing things for free, but it's just like, how can I help? Understanding what you're trying to do, and how can I help you do what you're doing?
Yeah.
And then that comes around. How can I help you do what you're doing? Yeah. Because I think for both of us, when it comes to creative kind, neither one of us could have pulled that off on our own.
Yeah.
But the things that were present here, giving of those generously to each other, creates this fantastic space that, I mean, other co-working spaces have some elements of it, but it's not what you're building back there, which includes the community and the relationships. Yeah. Seeing a John Largent back there who could go lots of places and
he's been great.
Yeah. And those, so, but, okay, let's move on. Talk about a lesson that you've learned in your career that you think others in the community would benefit from.
I think, let me look at my notes. You can edit that out, hopefully. Okay, I think some lessons that I've learned kind of as I've stepped into this is just on a practical level, give yourself a lot of runway as much as you can. And I mean that
more than you think you need.
Yeah, in a very practical sense. You know, minimum 3 months of savings. You know, I think 6 months is better. 12 months would be even greater. Like, so when you're jumping out and you're stepping out to something new, you need to truly count the cost. That's one thing that I probably did not have enough of as I first started out. I had about 3 months, and then, 3 months in, we're still trying to build things, and so
sometimes it's good we don't know all the costs, because then we never would get on the runway in the first place.
That's
so there's
true.
some grace for that. But,
that's true.
And I think also too, it's like, man, once you get on the runway, I think sometimes we try to build a business on the side, and we get this idea like we can do a business on the side, but man, you don't go fly an airplane on the side. And when you get on the runway and it's time to take off, there's this commitment point where it's like, I'm in.
You're all or nothing. You got to go.
No matter what happens now.
You're in the air. You got.
And it's not half throttle. It's the only option is full throttle. And that'll. I should probably stop this now and go work. But man, that's a really powerful lesson. And appreciate you sharing that. What about any trends or innovations that you see in your field that you're excited about?
Excited about?
Yeah.
Not many.
As excited as Jason Barnes gets.
And not AI.
Okay.
I'm not excited about AI. I have to admit that I am starting to use it in my workflows a little bit. I think it's kind of inevitable at this point. But
it's not an excuse to stop being an artist.
Right. And I think that's there's just it gives me moments of pause where there are some ethical things that are happening with AI that I don't agree with or like, where artists are just being like their work is being copied almost exactly, and like their style that they've spent years. So there's some of that to it. There's also just from
and by the way, like I've seen some of the logos that you make and the branding that you've done for a creative kind.
Yeah.
And I've also asked AI to create some things.
It's
here
not there
yet. I just got to say, it's not the same as having somebody who's talented and really put the time in. There's just some things that, that's a big difference.
Yeah. And I'm already seeing really kind of in the industry, or really a shift already happening. AI is going to keep coming at us. And I'm not saying that it's all evil by any means, but I think it's kind of like having a chainsaw in your toolbox. It can do a lot, but it can also do a lot of damage too. And so we have to treat it carefully and use it with wisdom, right? So that's kind of one of the things. There's also, the issues of, not a lot of people are talking about, but just on a kind of, on our environment, the impact that AI is having in a very practical sense, how much, millions of gallons of water are being used by these giant farms, right? Like, so, like data farms and all these things, and then just how much energy that it consumes. So I think there's some caution that we need to take with that, and there needs to be some improvements, maybe something. I don't know from a legislative standpoint or not, that doesn't always work, but I think just we need to start thinking about, a very practical sense, like what is it going to do for us in the long run. There's also something about like, and it becomes very easy. You just like, oh, I'll just ask chat, and you just go right to that instead of like really sitting and thinking through the process, and you give a lot of that creative control to it.
Definitely risking some atrophy and
and so we start giving up that. Creativity is a muscle. I think that it's a muscle, and you have to exercise it. You have to use it, and so that's kind of that's not to say that I'm not using it, but I'm starting to give myself pause. Like, do I need to use it? There are some great features. Adobe's doing a lot of pushing hard into the AI sphere right now. New tools and things like that. They're interesting. They're cool, but like, I don't know that everything on there is really necessary. There are some things that are improving workflows and speeding things up, which I do appreciate. But when we start getting to the generative AI stuff and just like, it's there's a new term called AI slop that is now coming out, and it's just like people can know, they can see it and understand it, and like they know that something's off about it, right? And there's like, and as that keeps coming out and more of it's being generated, I feel like marketers and advertisers are going to have a harder time actually getting people's attention. I think the things that are more exciting to me are the handcrafted things. People showing the behind the scenes of how they made this thing and moving into that handcrafted experience. That's what excites me the most. That's the stuff that I love to see. I'm like, the AI stuff, I'm like, I'm even starting to unfollow some people that are just like, they were just phenomenal photographers, and they just go ahead all in on the AI, and like, your work is no longer interesting to me. Because you're just, I know there is some work that has to happen to make AI look good still. And it still takes a creative eye, I think. But it should just be another tool, not the main thing, right? Like the main focus. And so that's kind of my viewpoint on that. I think it's also causing a shift as more and more people can't tell what's real anymore. It's driving people to the in real life experiences. So concerts and meetups, and that's kind of one of the things that we're starting to do more of, or trying to do more of at Creative Kind, is to build those community elements where we're bringing people together in real life. And then you're interacting, and there's so much more that comes from that than an online experience can ever give you. So those are, that's
okay. That's good.
It's a lot.
What would be some advice that you might give, even not about AI necessarily, but a piece of advice to someone starting out in the creative industry?
I mean, just what I said before about building enough runway, but also don't just focus on building your creative skills, also focus on your business skills. Learning that, and that's something I'm still learning. I'm still growing in that, trying to get better at understanding what it takes to run a business. Like, and it really is, even art itself, fine art is a business if you want it to sustain you, right? You have to consider that. In order to keep making art, you have to know how to sell your art and how to interact with people and who your market is and all those things. The other thing I would think, I would say, would be to focus on building relationships. Not transactional, but just be genuine in your interactions with people, and be a kind person, and be likable, and and focus on developing those skill sets and just investing in other people. I feel like if you're more collaborative and you're more open-handed, you're more generous, more is going to come back to you. And so that's kind of something that I focus on.
As you said, I think sometimes we feel like just being likable is the most important thing in building relationships, but also being reliable.
It's about building trust.
If you want a relationship with trust, that doesn't come from being likable. It comes from more of the reliability side of being a friend. Saying, hey, if I'm going to do something together with you, following through with that.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of people, a lot of artists, they'll travel to some of the art hotspots like Nashville or LA or New York, feeling like just their artistry is going to carry them. But so many times it's like, I'll take the 90% artistry for the one who I know is going to show up and follow through.
Absolutely.
And handle, not necessarily be a smart business person, but just having some of the character that goes along with the art itself.
I feel like maybe there is a certain stigma around creatives and artists that are, they can be flaky. And I think we need to shift that perspective and, you show up when you say you're going to show, you need to be there 15 minutes early. Like, if you promise to do something and you've agreed to do something, then you need to do it and you need to deliver on it and you need to do it in a timely manner. Like those are just some basic principles that I feel like maybe are lacking a little bit. And that goes across the board of like any industry, really, right? That's just good.
Correct.
Just being a good human and being a person of your word, I think, goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Because people don't want to experiment with a bunch of risk. They want confidence, trust, reliability, those kinds of things. I would also throw out, this is often a critique that I have for artists, is kind of the snootiness that might come from you need to come to my art and come to, like, in lots of dimensions, whether that be physical, of you have to come to my place to enjoy my art, or you have to come to get inside my head to enjoy my art, compared with and there's a place for some of those things, really push the envelopes of art, but so much more of art's value has to do with coming towards people where they're at, bringing art to them, whether it be on the business side, doing that, having that service posture, that servant's posture, which I feel like I don't think you put this on your resume, but if I was going to describe Jason Barnes, Jason is fantastic. You're fantastic at your service posture of understanding the person. Like when you're taking a commission for a piece, whether that be a video or whatever, recognizing your role has to be getting inside of somebody's head and heart and understanding what they're trying to create and produce. And I've sat through this process with you, and you're fantastic at it.
Thank you.
And so that would be, you didn't ask me this question, but if I was going to ask me the question, what advice I would give to artists, this is one of the things that I would say.
What advice would you give Brent?
That's such a great question. But yeah, that service posture of man, I want to go serve people with my art.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? And to use my art to help them connect with in a deeper way with themselves or with their customers, if it's a marketing kind of a gig or branding kind of a gig. It's because when that connects with people deeply, that's when art has finally hit somebody. Anyways, that's great advice. Thanks. We encourage ourselves sometimes around Kinected. So
somebody's got to do it.
So, all right. If you could have any Kinected member as a mentor or collaborator, besides me, since we've already been doing a lot of work together.
Yes. You were on my top of my list. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Who would you choose and why?
Let's see. Mike Morehouse. I think he's very creative. He's not specifically in the creative space, but
also lives at the generosity thing.
Absolutely.
Huge.
And he's been a huge supporter, just, even donated some gear to the space. I'm like, just wow.
I've got this really nice video camera.
Wow. He's been so generous. But every conversation I have with Mike, I feel uplifted. I feel like encouraged. I feel like the conversation is always stimulating. Like, oh, that's interesting, and he's funny, which I enjoy. I appreciate. And I've just some of the stuff I've gotten to see some of the stuff he's building right now behind the scenes and this new software thing that he's developing. I'm just blown away. Blown away, just the complexity that it takes to build that, but how simple it is for the end user. And just like, I think it's going to go really far. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I think very useful to people, to coaches, and to business leaders, and anybody in leadership that wants to develop their team is going to be powerful. CC Smith also comes to mind. She's got Toolbox Studios here, doing phenomenal work. I think I would love to learn more from her. I've had some good conversations with her, but I would like to connect with her more and collaborate more if that's in some capacity. I'm trying to think. There's a.
Let's see if there's a coffee collaboration in the in the
Trust
future.
Coffee, I think, would be really fun to collaborate with.
Connecting
just
with some
because
of the roasting
that was
community. I know that was on your dream card there.
It was in the original blueprint that was like coffee was like central to the whole experience of what we wanted to create.
It was clearly a mission from God when that showed up on there.
Yes, I think so, if I want to tap them on the shoulder to see if they'll sponsor our next event, maybe. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, we do a monthly meetup event for creatives called the Creative Pour, and it's all about just building community and building collaboration and serving good coffee. And so that's kind of what that's about.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what is something unique or special or surprising about Jason Barnes that the community here might not know?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I feel like
what product do you use in your mustache?
Oh, I make my own mustache wax.
There you go. Yeah.
It's my own special blend developed over the years. I've had this mustache probably going on 10 years, maybe a little longer.
That's how you know. Who's Jason Barnes? Oh, it's the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's my trademark. What else? I beat cancer.
Love it.
I beat cancer. That was a whole journey. As I was launching Creative Kind, I found out I had bone cancer, and that was a whole journey. So trying to run a business I actually run two businesses because I also have my freelance graphic design and photography, and so like that was heavy. But just to see the community rise up around us and support us, and like I had no income coming in while I was just laid out for 2.5 months. Like I had surgery and all that, and so. That's very deep level. For sure. That was a interesting period. Let's see, what's a third thing that's a little more uplifting and exciting than bone cancer?
Being cancer is a pretty uplifting thing. Take that.
It's a heavy one though. I don't usually lead with that. I once had a photo licensed by Apple that went around the world in 22 countries on billboards and train stations and bus stops and all of that. So that was pretty exciting several years ago, having that experience.
Very cool.
And
if your business had a theme song, what would it be and why?
Dark Horses by Switchfoot.
Switchfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Good tune.
Yeah. It's very good. I'm not going to sing it for you.
No. Do you resonate with that message, being a dark horse, feel like?
Yeah, I think so. Coming from, being that overlooked sometimes, I think it's like the message of the song is like, we are the dark horse. So it's not just me. It's like
almost a generation.
Yeah. So it's more than just me, myself, but it definitely talks about, I've been hell and back again. I wear the scars now. Like I literally have scars from what I've gone through. And so, struggling through that, like, it's been hard, but it's been, I'm on the other side of that, and I'm excited to see, where God takes it.
Yeah.
So,
let's go.
Yeah.
Well, how can listeners in the Kinected community connect with you to learn more or to explore potential collaborations with you?
We can find me on Instagram. That's mostly where I hang out, at Jason Barnes Photo for my photography work. And my website, jasonbarnes.photo. And then for Creative Kind, we're at creativekind.studios on Instagram, and creativekind.studio for the website. And so that's the best way. Or schedule a tour. That'd be a great time. We have that available as an option on our website to schedule a tour and come by and see the space. I'm all about in real life interactions, as we talked about, and so I think I'd rather show than tell.
Yeah. And any specials, any things, any special deals you got going on? We got a little bit of new pricing in the Connect.
Yeah, we just launched. We spent some time earlier this year kind of reconfiguring, refining our membership tiers, just simplifying and making it better, I feel. So we have those available, starting at $99 for our flex space, and then that just gives you access to the community and some flex seating. And
that's workspace. That's flex desk kind of a product.
Yeah. Yep. And we have also a flex plus studio. So it's a flex membership. It also includes studio time, which is perfect for photographers or videographers or people that are they're more mobile maybe, but they need a couple days a week in the office kind of experience, and then be able to actually use the studio for shoots and whatnot. So, with that, we are doing just launched yesterday a limited core membership. It's called our Creative Core. It's limited to 10 spots only. It is same price as our Flex membership, but it's basically that next level up. So you're getting it for half off. But it is limited availability, limited time offer.
So $99, but you're not only getting a desk, you're also getting a pack of studio time.
And we really want people that are they want to get behind the vision of what we're building here and create that core team, people that want to invest back into building the community around them. And so that's kind of what that's about. So, and then, on a more personal note, I am a photographer, so I do discounted headshots for all Kinected members. So you can talk to me.
So I can get rid of that selfie in my car on LinkedIn.
Please do.
That's really impressing people.
Yeah, please do. And way better than the AI slap that people are using for their headshots now.
Don't use AI slop on your LinkedIn profile.
That's
headshot.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we live in a world that people want authenticity, and are we giving it to them if we just use some AI generated version of ourselves?
Yeah,
probably not.
There you go. What does that say about you when you're like, hey, I'm fake, I'm AI augmented, or do you say I'm real?
Yeah,
I'm the real McCoy.
So
love it. Thanks, Jason.
Absolutely.
That is a wrap for today's episode of the Kinected Podcast. A huge thank you to Jason Barnes for sharing his incredible story and insights with us, including being a cancer beater. Man, that's inspiring. If we can do that, we can go build some business together. So if you're inspired to connect with Jason or explore collaboration opportunities, you can reach him right here on the first floor. Get on the creativekind.studio website, or find him on Instagram. To our connected community, keep building those connections and keep driving impact. We really are better together. And this is a place where we get to work with our friends. So to learn more about Kinected, you can go to www.kinected.work. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast for more inspiring stories coming out just about every week. And we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.